it is believed that and rumored Jimmy for Bill. With that being the case, I know my man Jared has some viewpoints on it. A lot of people have some viewpoints on it, especially in NBA threads. Shout out to y'all again. Regarding Jimmy Butler, he don't have no more joy. The joy is not there playing basketball anymore. Drake said, if I ain't having fun with it, I don't want to do it no more. He wants out. Pat Riley has said, oh no, we're not trading him. Now the trade is happening. He's been suspended for 7 games. Has Pat Riley actually been the issue since they won that championship? Is Pat Riley the one that's fumbling the bag?
Yes, he's definitely the one fumbling the bag. Let me tell you why. When they won the championships with D Wade, LeBron, and Bosh, for some odd reason, I don't know why, it never really came out about why, but LeBron left. Don't really know why, but it definitely showed that it was something to do with Pat Riley and LeBron's dynamic. Then, you still have a somewhat competitive team with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. You added Joe Johnson, you added Goran Dragic, Hassan Whiteside, but ultimately you decide not to pay your greatest franchise player ever, who brought you 3 championships. You decide not to pay him. To me, that was crazy. It's like, out of all people, Dwayne Wade, Heat Nation, he decides to leave, then he ultimately comes back. And I'm not saying Jimmy Butler should get the same treatment, but you didn't give Jimmy a lot to work with in his time there. A lot of people say he's one of the best ceiling raisers in the league. He has a he hasn't had a lot of talent to play with Miami. A lot of undrafted players. To me, Bam hasn't taken that next step as the second option. Tyler Hero's been stepping up though, but you ultimately were supposed to get Damian Lillard, even though it's for Tyler Hero. It's Damian Lillard, another star. Him, Bam, Jimmy, that could have been a finals run right there, but it didn't work out. Pat Riley didn't want to do it. He wants to keep paying these undrafted players and not paying his stars. So I feel like Jimmy is right. He probably feel like I'm not. There's nothing I can do here no more. You're not giving me the help I need. I want to leave. And then plus, I don't want to give me an extension. Why should I stay here? So I feel like it is Pat Riley's fault. And Jimmy has something to do with it as well. Some of his antics is a little crazy, the hairstyles, and the whole situation last year with Boston, of their posting about beating Boston United playing. So he has something to do with it, but ultimately I think it is Pat Riley. And I'm not saying it's time for Pat Riley to retire, but it's time for him to reassess how he goes about his negotiations.
Yeah, Rush. That's a interesting thing too. Do you feel like Pat Riley maybe needs to be more flexible in how he approaches his leadership style? Because it's kind of, rumored it's heat culture and it's our way or the highway. It was rumored part of why Bron left was like little stuff like he didn't let Bron have cookies on the plane. Like Pat Riley has been stubborn in his approach and he uses I have these rings, so my way or the highway.
Yeah. It's the first time I heard the cookies story, which is kind of crazy to me. I'm sorry. Like, I can't imagine Brian leaving Miami. Man, Pat wouldn't let me have cookies on the plane, man. I'm going, I'm going back to Cleveland. I'm sorry. It's the Scotch. It's the Scotch. But no, I don't really have an issue um with Pat and Spo setting the expectations for their culture and sticking to it, because what do we hear so much of from like fan chatter? It's like, oh, why do they let these players like do all this? They'll be at the club one night and then they'll be out for load management. Players are just running amok and doing whatever. So I don't really have an issue with, you know, a structure. I really don't. And it's not like Pat Riley has signed all these stars and then they haven't won any championships, right? Like Brian Wade and Bosh got two. He got one with Wade and Shaq, and I think that gives him sort of the latitude to be able to say, hey, you coming here, you need to understand that one, you're going to be in shape. We're not going to take no nonsense. If you're healthy, you're expected to play. And then we have all these other guidelines by which you must abide by. I don't really have an issue with it. Now it never looks good when stars leave and they say bad things on their way out. But Shaq left after he won a championship. Ron left after he won 2 championships. Wade left after he won 3 championships. Jimmy got to 2 finals. So, and I don't know how far. I mean, how far did Jimmy get before he got to Miami? Was it like second round? I think maybe with the Wolves or the Bulls.
No final trips.
Yeah. So I mean, let's not discount that, right? Like the whole Heat culture provided that opportunity for those players too. So it can't be all cool and all love while it's working, and then when you don't get your coins or your cookies, it's now Heat culture is toxic or whatever. So I don't really have an issue with it. I hate that it's gone this way. I mean, Jimmy is easy to root for. He's charismatic. He's tough. He locks in. As Jared said, ceiling raiser, floor raiser, whatever, and got them to 2 finals. And that's not for nothing. But I can't really. I don't solely blame Pat Riley for this, because Pat Riley's being who he's been, but understand that comes with all the success that he's had since he's been in Miami.
Yeah, I think it's a situation where you got to look at it where both sides played a role in this. Both sides have things that they could improve on. We've seen the reports with Jimmy's career of not being the best for a franchise, and you could rub people the wrong way. Pat Riley, like he rushed said, hey, my ways worked up until this point, but he has, as of late, whether it's Pat, whether it's finances, whatever the reasons may be, they have struck out on stars and getting people to come to Miami, which typically is not something that we see as a thing. It's Miami. NBA players gladly will go to Miami.
Yeah. I don't think it's a lack for want though, right? Because Dame pretty clearly wanted to come. It was just a matter of working it out financially. Jimmy went there, right? Kevin Love signed there as a once I think he got bought out or waived from Cleveland.
Bought out in Cleveland, yep.
So though he was obviously on the downside of his career, I don't think the draw of Miami has lost any of its allure. I think what we're looking at is just the reality of the new CBA and aprons and restrictions on what you can package out, what you can't package out, how much more you got to pay if you're above a certain apron. So I think we're just starting to see like the realities of that. And so, if you've had success signing undrafted second rounders or guys playing overseas and you're able to maximize the talent out of them, maybe that's an avenue you stick with, because it's so much more expensive and so much more taxing, pun intended, to go out and get these big stars because of what you're facing with the CBA. But that's just my opinion.